not a threat, Ambassador. And I summoned you to this place for wholly superficial reasons. You see, I know how you humans love your symbolism, almost as much as you love your religion. And I wanted you, I needed you to understand. You have new gods now. Hey.
Hello?
That was Mag...
Who is that?
That was Magneto. I'm Johnny. Hi. Welcome to the Comics Corner. I'm Johnny. This is Mike. Mike works here. Hey.
On occasion.
Welcome to Starbucks. Welcome to Comics Corner. What can we handcraft for you today?
What can
What can we handwrite for you today?
Handread?
What can we handwrite for you today?
What are we talking about today, Johnny?
Oh my gosh, dude. We're talking about House of X Powers of 10 by Jonathan Hickman, which is an amazing trade paperback. Wait, what are people saying? You can sign...
Yeah, give it time. We'll sign some cards for you.
So
we got some stuff that we can sign. But yeah, the 2019 Duel series, I guess. It
feels like just a year ago, man.
Exactly, yeah. House of X Powers, the next 2 6-part miniseries that led into the new reimagining of the X-Men.
The Dawn of X one would say.
The Dawn of X books, yeah, exactly.
Especially if that one is Jonathan Hickman who's in charge of it. He gets that call.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
speaking of calls,
honestly, this is...
I'm just gonna set my timer because we got to do that. Remember we talked about that?
I remember that. I could see your phone. Got a lot of timers there, Johnny.
Oh yeah, you don't want to miss auctions.
You hate to miss them.
Hopefully we don't miss the next one.
But also, 2019. This is the most recent book that we've done on a book club book here, Johnny. Would you agree? Disagree?
I got it.
90% of them are like...
Yeah, we've been reading a lot of older stuff.
Yeah,
this is new.
80s, yeah, like
well,
82 to 89.
So actually, this is what got me in. This is the only current series that I read. I started getting into this the night before the first issue got released. Like, I'd kind of heard about it, and then like somebody made a post in one of the groups I was in, and I was like, that sounds badass. I'm like, that sounds like a good jumping on point for somebody who hasn't collected X-Men in a long time. Even though I love X-Men, I only collected the old stuff. And that's exactly what this is this is a jumping on point. Like, if you jump into Batman right now, you probably have no idea what's going on. If you jump into Avengers right now, you probably got no idea what's going on. If you jump into X-Men right here, you can figure it out pretty quick. Yeah, that's what it's meant for. So I started getting the single issues. Do you know where I got the first issue, actually?
Where's that?
That rack right over there. I came here...
Pastimes, Comics and Games?
In Niles, Illinois. That's Pastimes, Comics and Games. In Niles, Illinois.
Golf Mill Mall.
That's Golf Mill Mall.
Mall entrance number 8 between the AMC and the Shop and Save.
We practice that never. That just happens spontaneously. There's not even an entrance over there. We just made that up. No, there is an entrance. You just have to know where it is.
It's a brick wall you're knocking on.
It's kind of like that Harry Potter thing.
I know, but the husk of it remains.
The Shop and Save is closed. Yeah, but it's a good landmark. Oh, we're by the remains of Shop and Save. I mean, we're by the Shop and Save.
Charlie, the Shop and Save is like a resurrected, reanimated husk, but it doesn't have the cerebro mind and brain putting into it. So
I think that was a Hickman quote.
Not a quote.
Loose leaf? That's my favorite type of paper.
It's not jumbled up in no binders like some mad.
Not perforated line. Nice. Here you go, teacher.
So Johnny, what's this about us being quick about these issues?
Well, because there is 12, and wait, so we're gonna do 8 minutes each issue. We're gonna power through them, and actually we're gonna do 7 minutes each issue.
I was gonna say that would have assumed that we started on time.
So we're gonna do 7 minutes each issue, which is doable because you don't want to dwell too much on certain things, and there are some things you want to dwell on.
Honestly, yeah, there's certain chapters where you can kind of speed through them. Like
actually, reading through it, there were a few that read really quick.
Exactly, yeah.
Not all. Also, joining us today live on the chat, Crab Rangoon. Crab Rangoon, everybody, live on the chat. Courtesy of Charlie. Charlie in the chat, everybody.
What is the Crab Rangoon rate this out of 10?
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Solid 8.
The book?
Wait, the Crab Rangoon?
No, the House and Powers.
Oh, I thought you were talking the crabs. No. 9. 9 out of 10. Because if it was 10 out of 10, it would have to be as good as The Dark Knight Returns, and it's not. So that's got to be my standard. So
honestly,
do you give it lighter than that? That's okay if you do.
It's definitely lighter. Is 7 lighter than 9, Johnny?
Hold on.
Carry the 4.
What did you say? 7?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's smaller than 9.
I don't need the calculator for this one.
Not anymore.
Charlie, is that your rating? 7.5.
We don't do 0.5s in the chat, Charlie.
Yeah, don't you dare.
We've already talked about this.
I want to see no dang decimals here. Yeah, no, so for me...
Do we get your decimal system out of here?
The story, there were parts of the story that I really liked. Some of them, like, I could kind of do without. Like, we've talked about this a little bit beforehand when you came in earlier today. Like, a lot of the phalanx and some of the future stuff I can kind of do without. And then I do give it a pretty solid rating for the art. But again, we talked about this mostly for the
House of X issues.
the House of X. So
Mr. Pepe Larraz.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we didn't mention it.
guy.
Written by Jonathan Hickman for House and Powers. For House, the penciling was done by Pepe Larraz, and for Powers, it was by R.B. Silva. And I think, yeah, Pepe Larraz, I think, does better stuff. It's kind of more painterly. It's got softer lines. It's got, I think, better kind of colors and blending, whereas
The colors are way better in
the
this.
Silva ones, you know, for Powers are still solid. Like, it's not like it's bad
Well,
art.
it looks like, okay, it looks like this is like an adult turned it in, and this looks like a kid turned it in. It's not bad. It's like, oh, you're still learning. You gotta get better.
Oh, you're doing the art for one of the biggest comic book publisher and one
It's
of
like when you have
one of
like
the biggest stories.
It's like when you have the
Still
bootleg
learning.
version of like Photoshop. Like,
You mean GIMP?
yeah, okay, if that's what that is, yeah, I didn't
not
have
bootleg,
anything
it's
backed
a
up
free
there
version.
to actually follow that sentence.
But yeah.
Wait, what was the cute name Mike used to refer to the book today? If you said his Hoxpox, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Welcome, Vic. Good evening. Big hearts to Vic. And yes, it was Hawks.
Vic, we do love you.
And yeah.
And Vic, do I have one hell of a question for you, but we're gonna ask you in person, not in the chat.
Sounds like a threat.
Because I don't know if it's politically correct.
Oh, that one, Johnny, we can't.
I said in person, not in the chat. But I need to know.
So, Charlie and Vic, what do you think of our new house dressing, or our set dressing rather?
House of X, Powers of X.
Well, not just that. I just mean what's new here.
Look at that Alan card, dude. He's so handsome.
I know it is far away. It's just some nice background stuff. But also, this does mean that I'm like an arms. I could just a quick slide of the chair away from getting those Boris cards. I got the Pokemons. You know, what's this? Let me lean over here. And now we're reading a D&D Choose Your Own Adventure book. Look at this.
I gotta bring some stuff for over here, dude.
I was gonna say, yeah, we could.
Oh my God! You know what I'm gonna
We're
bring?
put statues. Right now, we've just got Jeffy watching over us as he always is.
Wait.
And then I've got my Pastimes mug.
Is this showcase thing for the store? Can it be?
Which one?
The case, the showcase case. You know, like the frame for the comic book.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we can put one. Yeah.
Dog, you know what I have that I'll bring in, but you can't keep it when I don't work here anymore. I'm taking it back. I have Charles Barkley vs. Godzilla, the comic book from
Oh yes,
1993.
I do know what you're talking about.
So
yes.
I'm gonna bring that in and frame it, and that's gonna be in our background. So, and if anybody ever touches it, I will slice their face off.
I think there was somebody brought in. Somebody
threat.
was trying to sell us comics one time, and they had that in there. And I think I offered higher than I normally would have, just because of,
You offered them a cool mill, right?
yeah, you know.
Good. You did them right.
The problem is we didn't have that money. The check bounced. Alan yelled at me, and then there goes Charles Barkley versus Godzilla. No, they had that and a bunch of other like cool weird stuff that I would have bought for myself once we got it through the store. But the person, I think, completely overvalued what they had. So whatever, it walked.
People often do.
Um,
Like this $7 LaCroix that I have. It was amazing.
You paid way too much, Johnny. I told you. I said we had them.
Yeah,
we had them
you
for
know,
free. at
this
the
isn't
store.
just water, Mike. It sparkles, baby.
Tastes like lime. What was that about us speeding through these issues to catch up? For made up for lost
We're
time.
still in the intro 7 minutes. We counted for
I
that.
can't see. Where is it?
Yeah, it disappears after 5, so we're cutting it. Oh, 7:09. We just passed it by 10 seconds.
Johnny,
First episode.
Put that LaCroix down.
LaCroix. All right, House of X, Powers of X. Opens with a red page. You're like, what the hell's going on? Everything's red. I don't get it. No, that's not what happens, dude. No, it actually opens with some real creepy shit,
Yeah, I
to
was
be
gonna say,
honest
how do you
with
feel
you.
about like this kind of like
This version of Professor X? He's weird.
well,
He's
not even
strange.
that. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah.
Look at that.
Please
Look
don't.
at his
Please don't.
suit. Look at his outfit. Yeah, so it opens up with Professor X. There's naked people crawling towards it. I'm not being funny at this point. This is what's happening. Okay,
You're
so
seeing this.
yeah, this is what's happening, and he just says, "To me, my X-Men," and you're like, "What the hell?" And this opening quote. There's opening quotes at the beginning of each issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how do you feel about, just real quick, like, about this kind of like very
format?
techno, yeah, like the formatting of the in-between stuff, almost Watchmen-esque of between chapters. We get some kind of context from like this weird database, more info about kind of what happens. I kind of like the look of it.
No,
think
I
it's
love
neat.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's phenomenal.
Also
Yeah.
fills in some gaps too that were kind of needed, especially early on. Like there was a lot happening, and I'm like,
It's pretty heavy duty.
why are they naked? We don't find out until a lot later too.
Yeah, like issue 9 or so, and you're like, oh yeah, naked people at the beginning. That was weird. So naked people crawling towards Professor X. Then we get this cutscene of all these like flowers being planted in random
You're right,
places.
Charlie.
like the moon, Washington, D.C., like really weird places. Mars, Jerusalem habitat.
Shoot, that's what I was gonna do.
What? You were gonna swear at me?
I was gonna swear at you, but I always am. So real quick, when House and Powers of X1 came out, as a promotional item, they sent to us seed packets with the covers for House of X1, and Powers of X1, and they were just random seed packets that they gave us, and I still have a bunch at home, and I thought I had some at the store because I was going to bring them here, but the Krakoan flower is like a huge theme in these books, but the fact that they went for that I thought was kind of cool and unique. Nobody really wanted to take them. I had them out on the counter. I'm like, hey, here's some sweet seed packets. They just kind of shrugged at them and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm taking the rest of these home. So I may or may not have opened up a packet into the community garden that's near my house just to see what happens. And then I may have completely forgotten that I did that and never checked back to see if anything grew. So
what? We could have a portal and we don't even know it?
I don't know.
Right,
that feels illegal to me. I probably did a wrong thing there, but I'm like
no, the wrong thing you did was admitting to it on camera right now. Doing it was fine.
I didn't say what community garden it was.
Okay. You can run with that. Speed.
Speaking of running.
Alright, so these flowers that were planted everywhere, they start sprouting months later, and then we get this, like, these world leaders meeting at this embassy saying that they got a mental message from Professor Xavier, essentially offering them a bunch of miracle drugs in exchange for amnesty because the mutants have formed their own sovereign nation of Krakoa. I'm not going to tell you where Krakoa is from because it's kind of a spoiler. When somebody told me, I was like, well, that spoiled something for me. So if you don't know where Krakoa is, go back in X-Men lore. So they're meeting Charles Xavier here at this like embassy, but then pops up Magneto and he's like, I'll be meeting you here instead of Charles. Bro, love that shot of Magneto. Love the white outfit.
I was going to say, how do you feel about the clean suit Magneto?
Dig it, dog. There's a badass variant cover from X-Men issue 1 of him in this. We have a couple copies, but I already have mine. I got it.
You got it, don't worry.
But basically we find out that these plants that were planted create portals that go to these places like on the moon and Mars and oh god. Alright.
The camera's on.
Mike, are you okay?
I'm okay. The cameras aren't okay.
Did everything shake? Did everything shake? My head's still shaking. I'm okay. I need to sit down.
Please do. Johnny already sitting, please.
Oh god, I need to stand up then. I'm gonna puke.
Johnny, what
Are
about
we
us?
live?
What about us speeding through all these?
I can't help when I'm sneezing. Sneeze Louise. These flowers create portals that go from all these spots like Mars and Jerusalem and New York to one another and also to Krakoa. And that's what these little pages explain. And we see all these mutants, like everybody, all these good mutants on Krakoa. It's their sovereign nation. They're going to be free, blah, blah, blah. They're talking. This is so dense. How are we going to get through all this?
Some of these you can skip. No, it's fine. I mean, what we see now here is Ms. Marvel, Marvel Girl rather, bringing in Jean Grey, bringing in these younger mutants and kind of just giving exposition of we're in Krakoa now. We're here with Professor Xavier. These are where mutants live. We're going to be safe because what we're finding out here is that Professor X is looking to kind of make Krakoa its own sovereign nation by basically trading off that recognition from the outside world by giving them these flowers, which not only for mutant side make these portals that are interconnected, but for humans it gives us basically 5 extra years of life. It's basically like a cure-all of all diseases like cancer.
We got one more minute for all these pages.
Don't worry, we got it. They're in space. Don't worry, it's easy. And then
Orcus, made up of things like S.H.I.E.L.D. and AIM and other various entities.
Yeah, the space stuff. I don't know how I feel. Well, I mean,
no, they got a master mold head. You're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, what is the Sentinel?
We find out later. Orcus structure, blah blah blah.
Yeah, Orcus is basically just CIA, FBI,
Brotherhood of Mutants,
TNA,
breaking in somewhere, trying to get some stuff.
ATF,
they get stopped.
MMA.
They get stopped by the FF, the Fantastic Four. Magneto talking a bunch of smack to these world leaders. It's really good dialogue, actually, if we had more time, but we don't. So, they get stopped by the Fantastic Four. Just Cyclops shows up and he's like, "Hey guys, how about you just let them go? We're gonna take care of ourselves." And they're like, "What the hell's going on?" Cyclops he throws some mad shade at Reed Richards about his son Franklin Richards, which I think plays a role in that X-Men FF crossover later on.
Yeah.
So, throw some shade at them. We find out about all these Omega level mutants. Magneto talking smack, tells them that quote I said in the beginning. Boom, 14 on the dot. We did it. We did it. Issue 2. Okay.
Issue 2. How do you feel about Moira McTaggart?
All right, so in issue 2, we haven't found out much, but we find out that Moira McTaggart met Charles Xavier when he was very young.
Well, young.
And this is a scene.
At least bald.
Still bald, but he can walk without his powers. Moira McTaggart meets Xavier at a young age and has him read her mind, and that's all we get. But it's very important.
Yeah.
So we find that out.
Something shocking happened there.
Yeah. But overall, Mystique was able to return whatever that the Brotherhood was stealing to Professor Xavier and Magneto, and it was really important. We don't know what it is yet.
With information on it.
Yeah, flash drive. And then we find out why it's called Powers of 10 is because this story spreads over like 4 different timelines, essentially. And that's really all I'm going to say about it because it gets super confusing. But it's over 4 timelines. So this is another timeline that's in the future.
Yeah, when the machines are basically running, have taken over society, like the Sentinels have reached like peak sentience and peak form through Nimrod.
Yeah.
Like the Nimrod the Lesser.
And we're introduced to these remaining mutants that we've never met before in the X-Men universe. They're new because it's the future.
Seems like very Days of Future Past, where they're all being kind of hunted down.
Slaughtered.
There's like a last bastion of them. There's like less than 12 remaining in the world, I believe, on an asteroid.
Yeah, we get a little bit of Nimrod talking a bunch of smack.
How did you feel about like this cutesy Nimrod too? Like he's like the jokes that he makes and like his way of speaking. And again, like a lot of this is comes from me not knowing a whole lot of like deeper X-Men lore, like some of these characters. Like I know that like Nimrod and some of these other characters existed before, but I don't know. That felt a little. Yeah, like again, yeah. It's like I don't know if that felt out of place for me. Maybe it's just me because it's like here's like kind of like the big bad of what we've read so far, and he's like very kind of jokey and cutesy. We get that a bit too with Mr. Sinister, and I also wasn't a fan of that. But
yeah, I agree with that one a lot.
Whatever.
Nimrod, I'm indifferent about. But yeah, basically the run of this episode was we're introduced to 4 different timelines. The first one is Moira McTaggart meeting Xavier when he's young. The second timeline is like our modern day X-Men, which is Krakoa that we were introduced to in the first. The third is this futuristic that he's talking about with all the
machine society.
Yeah, and there's a fourth that we haven't quite got to yet, but there's a fourth one. So, but basically, that mission that the Brotherhood was on to get that flash drive in our second timeline, these mutants in the future were kind of doing a similar thing. We don't know what it's for yet, but they were getting something. They were on a what would you call it? Kind of mission? Recon mission. They're on that, and they return using a Krakoan portal to meet a few other mutants. And again, this is the future. So we got an aged Magneto, Wolverine, that's Krakoa, and then I can't remember who that dude is.
Began with Zorn, right?
Yeah, but we don't really know who he is.
Also, talking about clean suit Magneto, how do you feel about green suit Magneto?
Not a fan of that. That's like when Player 2 also selects Magneto in the video games, and I'm not a fan of that. That's not
Player 2.
So then we get our fourth timeline, which is even further. Obviously, it's further down than the third timeline, and it's these like entities that are like we don't really know a lot about them. They're kind of like
not Magneto. You're right, Charlie. Yeah. They mentioned who the 12 are, and it's not Magneto.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's.
Oh. I guess I skimmed over that. Okay.
Good look though.
And these, it's like the future of that timeline, and it's a little hard to understand what's going on at this point.
Yeah, this one we're definitely thrown into it. There's a lot of talk of...
This guy's called the Librarian, and this is Nimrod now. Nimrod the Greater, or Nimrod the Lesser.
He's still lesser, but yeah, it's just his new form.
And basically, in this future, they have a... What would you call that?
Like a biome,
with humans.
Yeah, they call it the sanctuary, I think it is.
Yeah, so basically in the future, humans are almost extinct. So that's... Okay, so... In the fourth timeline, they're almost extinct. In the third timeline, mutants are getting hunted down. And that's basically where we're at. So it's very confusing, and it's meant to be at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, because we are just thrown right into it.
So when you were reading it... No, we're ahead now. Okay, now we're on point. Okay, so when you were reading it, like, what did you feel like at this point? Because I remember I was trying to take guesses at what was going on, and like very few of my guesses panned out. So
Yeah.
how were you
So,
reading
so
this?
quick recap too for me was I started reading it after Dawn of X #1 when X-Men got rebranded and became #1 after these 12 came out. So I wasn't
Okay.
reading them week to week because I don't have the patience for that. I like to just read it all at once. So I waited for it all to be out. I went through it once, and a lot of it kind of washed over me. Like some of it didn't really stick, and yeah, like the kind of jumping around of the future timeline stuff, I wasn't really too big on. But
Yeah.
going back at it again and just taking a deeper look at it, like it's all there. But there's certain parts I still could kind of take or leave, and some of the future stuff I still don't really care too much about. But also, we talked about it too is that we also haven't read any of the later stuff.
It's comic related.
I see.
Don't worry.
It's almost on cam. We can almost watch you do it. But I was a fan of. I liked. There's the one scene where the X-Men go to space. I wish there was more kind of fun stuff like that very heist
Yes.
scene. There's certain
That
scenes
issue
and
is
timelines.
awesome.
Exactly. There's certain scenes and timelines that I'm a fan of, but other stuff I can kind of do without. And yeah, the future stuff like this blue-headed Xavier-looking dude. Whenever it came to him, or what is it, the Sovereigns? What were the like the peak, the people who will ascend, the blue guys?
Wasn't that the Phalanx?
Phalanx, that's what it was. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of their name. That stuff, like, I get where they're going with that too, and like we get a lot of that in the as Charlie mentioned, the techno explanations, like in the margins and in between these stories. Of talking about what's going on with them, but at the end of the day, I didn't really care that much, and it felt like it didn't really fit in that much. Like we get it at the end with at the very end. Like that's
Well,
the
that's why
last
they
one,
had to
but
have it
yeah,
there to tie it
exactly.
all together.
Mhm.
So, all right, we gotta move on to issue 3.
Yep.
So, issue 3, actually, I think this is probably the second best issue of the whole story.
Yeah.
When this came out, this also I think is the hardest one to find
Yes,
for whatever it's worth.
Powers too.
Yeah, no, House 2.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
So, this is the episode where we find out that Moira McTaggart, who has always just been kind of like not a background character, but also not a prominent character, like not a main character, actually plays a gigantic role in X-Men lore, and we find out a lot. This is some heavy retconning.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's.
It's awesome though.
that's the
I
whole
dig
point
it.
of
Do you
is-
like
is-
this? And this is a heavy one to follow. So we're good.
We are. Did you win it?
Not yet. We got 2 minutes left.
All
I'm
right.
bidding on some books on eBay that we do not have in store. Otherwise, we'd be buying them here at Pastimes. It's Pastimes, located in Golf Mill Mall in Niles, Illinois.
What
Pastimes.
mall entrance is that?
8.
Yep, you know it, Johnny.
Pastimes by Mall Entrance 8 in Niles, Illinois. Golf Mill Mall. I got to work on that.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
Okay.
Until then.
So, how this opens is it's like Moira McTaggart's like what do you call it?
It's almost an inner monologue.
But what's the word? Like a origin story.
Oh yes, yeah.
And it's like she's born, and we find out that like
She's aware of previous lives.
she died.
Yeah.
So wait, it starts out saying Moira McTaggart was born, and then blah blah blah, she dies, and you're like, wait, what the hell? Moira McTaggart is alive because she's in our timeline, and then it's like you turn the page and it's like the second life of Moira McTaggart, and you're like, wait, what? And you find out that this whole time Moira McTaggart has been a mutant, and her mutant power is reincarnation. When she dies, she it's essentially reboots the timeline. And when she's back in the womb, she can remember everything from her previous lives.
Yeah, that knowledge carries over. I like just very old child Moira, just so done with it.
Yeah, because she's already educated when she's born.
5, but yeah, she's had an entire lifetime packed into that 5-year-old brain, and she just looks so done with it.
So it's a lot to take in, because you're like, whoa, this is pretty heavy. So we find out like when she met Xavier, she knew a lot more about him and the X-Men than she let on. And basically what it all comes down to is these last 10 seconds of this auction.
All right, I'll read Charlie's thing. I felt like they didn't explain that she gets reincarnated to the beginning of her life. I thought she just got born at the time of her death again, and then figured it out. Obviously, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, she's just kind of like restarting the life. It's not like
I did not win.
What? Johnny.
I can't believe that I went way higher than I thought it would take, and I still didn't win it. I am disappointed in myself.
Next Tuesday, we're gonna have a stream on how to properly eBay.
Excuse you? I just didn't overpay for something. You just angered me.
Good.
All right. Going back to my stopwatch, so we know what the hell time
Exactly,
it is.
yeah. But yeah, the way in which she's reincarnated.
Very.
Um,
Go to your room.
Speaking of eBay, we might have a stream about that next Tuesday.
Hell yeah, I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
But until then.
Mm-hmm. Until then,
Hope
what's
we
going
get
on
our-
here?
Okay. So basically, what this issue is we find out that because Moira McTaggart has lived so many lives, she finds out that no matter what, mutants end up becoming extinct. Like, basically, no matter what plays out, and after, like, by her third life, what she does is she keeps dying and reincarnating, trying to change the future so that mutants do not become extinct. And we're finding out that no matter what card she plays, because it goes over different things she does. Like she
she does different angles,
she befriends Xavier. In a different lifetime, she befriends Magneto. In a different lifetime, she befriends Apocalypse. In a different lifetime, she assassinates Boulevard Trask and all of his kin.
To prevent all the Sentinels from being a thing.
Basically, what you're finding out is that no matter what, the inevitability is that humankind will create a Sentinel, and the Sentinel eventually evolves to a Nimrod, and Nimrods eventually wipe out mutant kind. So this is kind of giving a little more context to why the previous issue had different timelines.
Yeah.
So that's really what, and you get like little snapshots of all these different lives that she
It was
lived.
interesting. Did you ever see the movie? What was the? Oh gosh.
Her with Apocalypse, that's an awesome panel.
Had the tagline of "Live, Die, Repeat." It was what's his dang name? What Mission Impossible? Why am I blanking on names here?
I know what you're talking about. I know.
Yes.
I want to say Overwatch, but it wasn't Overwatch.
No, it wasn't Overwatch.
Yeah, with Tom Cruise. Yeah.
It had two different names too, I think. Yep, that's the one, Charlie.
Ashton.
The guy from My Name Is Earl. The brother. But yeah, because in that whole shtick is Edge of Tomorrow. Thank you, Charlie, for after the fake answer. Thank you for the real answer. But in Edge of Tomorrow.
I dropped my pen.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, you picked that up. Johnny, you're still on camera. We saw every bit of that.
Really? That's probably funnier, to be honest with you. That's better than I could have done if I tried to make it funny. Crepe Rangoon, sponsored by Charlie.
Oh, where was I going? Okay, so yeah, it's basically the plot of Edge of Tomorrow, where every time he dies and comes back, he uses the knowledge that he gained there to try and come at it from a different angle to see if he could beat the system, more or less, if he could survive.
It is very much like that.
Yeah, exactly. So in this case, she's coming back and trying to tell Xavier and Apocalypse, Magneto, see from their angle if we go the more passive route, if we go aggressive and like defend against mankind. But yeah. All ends lead to this, or all roads lead to the same end of.
This was one of my favorite things that they included.
Yeah,
was Jonathan Hickman made a timeline of all 10 of her lives, because to this point she has 10 lives. Oh, and we find out too, from another mutant named Destiny, that Moira McTaggart does not have endless lives. She probably has like 11 or 12. So, by this point, she's had 10 lives, and these are the timelines. So if you need any specifications, you can get these books and read that, because it's very awesome.
And it's interesting too because some of the later timelines we see as kind of like incomplete and ongoing.
Actually, I remember when I was reading this as they were coming out, I noticed, and I have a video to prove it because I was making videos to analyze these issues when they came out. I loved this series. I noticed right early on that there's no Life 6. I was like, what?
Yeah,
it skips from 5 to 7, and then yeah, you're right. One of them didn't have an end.
Yeah, the last two, like...
Yeah, 9 and 10 are ongoing.
Yeah.
Well, 10 is our current timeline, but you don't know why 9 is ongoing, and you don't know why 6 is missing. Let's read to find out.
Yeah.
This is them enlisting... Nope, that's an accident. We're done.
It's too late. I've already lost.
No,
Come on.
yeah. Sorry, clear. Get out. I'm already pissed. I didn't win those books. Detective Comics! And you know what? 2 of them were issues that we had in store that I sold on Instagram. And you know what? That's fine because someone else got them and they made money. But man,
and now they're listing them on eBay for you to buy.
Yeah, for me to miss out on.
How wild would that be?
Wild. So this is them enlisting Magneto in this current timeline, basically forming a friendship. Because what Xavier does this time is he shows using his telekinetics. What does he got? Using his telepathy. Where he's not bending spoons. That's telekinesis.
Exactly.
So, using his telepathy, he shows Magneto all of the stuff that Moira has been through her previous 10 lives. Because she shows it to Charles, then he shows it to Magneto. So, they form this friendship. And they're like, alright, we're not going to fight anymore because no matter what, we end up losing. So if we try this...
Yeah, so they decide to put their differences aside, work together, and start to create a nation of mutants.
Alright, I think we're doing pretty decent.
We are.
Okay, so issue 4, which is
Let's get to
Powers
some
of
space
X2,
stuff.
the final frontier. So we get back to, isn't this the flash drive that they got? Yeah, so basically it has some information about that.
A mother mold,
Which is that thing we saw in the space station, and basically Magneto looking like a badass right here, and Xavier are sending Cyclops and a team on a mission, which you can basically put piece together to destroy this Master Mold, because there's no Master Mold, can't be Sentinels, can't make a Nimrod, like this is a way to nip that in the butt. So, send them on this mission, and they're basically telling him that it's super important. So then we jump back to that third timeline, which we find out is actually Moira's 9th life, where she joined Apocalypse, and that links up with that, remember we were talking about those mutants that we had never met before, and they got, basically they were on that same mission with like a chip. So, in this lifetime, they're also trying to still beat Nimrod. And Apocalypse basically awakens Moira, who's been apocalypsed. How else would you put that?
Exactly, no, I like it.
And then it jumps back, or no, this is in the same timeline, so the mutants are...
Yeah, we get Goofy Nimrod, but
Yeah.
go on. Also, I'm a fan of Zorn. He's like a little nihilistic little boy, I like it.
Yeah, and basically, Apocalypse is like, we're doing this mission. He's basically giving the same speech that Xavier's giving to Cyclops. Like, this mission is important. Live or die. We're going through with this mission. So you're like, what the hell is this mission? What are these missions we're doing? You basically piece together destroying the Master Mold. But here's where you start to get stuff that's heavy and deep and probably not that important. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. Unless there's some payoff later. Wolverine does look good.
He does look good.
Always does.
Good eye, Vic.
Barely ages. James Howlett. Wolverine, everybody. We get a lot of information on like space, and like it's not really important.
It's a lot about the AI. We get all these ideas. Man, here we go. Yeah, get into
Yeah, so
this.
this is like the 4th timeline again, and this is like these, you know, they have the humans in the biodome, and basically they're trying to find ascension with the Phalanx.
And the Phalanx.
I'm not going to try to go further than that because it doesn't end up mattering.
Yeah.
They're trying to meet with the Phalanx, and this is eventually going to be the end of humankind.
Yes.
That's probably the important thing. But
as
you
part
still
of
don't
this-
know why. You're like, why the hell does this matter?
And then yeah, definitely here it gets into the idea of here is how these AI bodies work. The idea of like, all right, one machine just has one soul in it, and then it's like a cluster of them. What is it? A hive has 10. Intelligence is like 100 or 1,000. It's the idea of this kind of amalgam rolling ball of we're getting the combined information of all these different AIs and different systems, and it you know works together as a legion, as a hive mind, all the way up to a phalanx, which is like hundreds of thousands, like millions. It's full-on societies inside there. Will. One of these days I'm gonna be able to say it. I still can't. I don't know if it's even doable. Well, what's up, Will?
And yeah, as they're making contact with the Phalanx,
Yeah, how about this like
our crew
how about this like
shows up.
this techno religion that's going on here?
It seems like something
Where
we'd
they
be
like they
into.
zap that baby. It's
Batman the
it's
Cult, he would
so
fight
weird.
them.
I did.
All right, look at that. We're already on part 5 of 12. We're burning through this
Halfway
like we
there.
should. That's not 5's not half of 12, Mike. Hate to break it to you, buddy.
Sorry.
So these are the surviving mutants in that third timeline we're
Yes,
talking
yeah,
about,
and
where they're
also
about to fight
It's
Nimrod.
one of the Horsemen. It's not Wolverine. He's not in there. It was.
Yeah, Wolverine's War.
Oh no, sorry, Magneto.
Magneto, you're right. North.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kanye West's next child.
Don't you ever drag Kanye West into my X-Men ever again. I can't believe I just had to say the K word.
Drag him in there.
Jerk. Him, not you, but also you're
exactly.
cutting it close, buddy. So
Jerk by association.
we get more Nimrod mumbo jumbo. He's doing Nimrod stuff.
Yeah, they're attacking his fortress.
Yeah, that's basically
like
what's going
the
on.
Timeline.
And we're still trying to figure out what Apocalypse is doing with like Krakoa and stuff, and Magneto. Yeah.
Sorry, Vic.
Alert. So they get this crystal, which has a lot. It's like a microchip, basically.
They call it the intelligence crystal. I forget which.
Yeah.
This is like named after something, but yeah, it basically is a crystal hard drive. There's information like embedded within it. So
basically, they're gonna put that information into Moira, so that they know how to defeat Nimrod. Is basically what it is, because it has that information.
Exactly. It has like where it originated from or how it jumped from Sentinels to that.
So the idea is that they're going to get it into Moira. Here's Apocalypse being a badass fighting.
Also,
I love this.
Go back one. Because it had my boy Zorn. This is where we find out that like inside his brain is a singularity. And his whole shtick is, since he's the Horseman of Death for Apocalypse, and he just wants to constantly die, he finally gets his wish because they like bust open his head. Not magic. Who's that lady? Is that more? No.
There's a lot going on.
They die in a singularity. It was cool. I don't know. I liked it.
I think the artwork in this fight is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I remember thinking that when I had the single issues.
Moments.
And so basically, this is Wolverine giving that information to Moira, and now she has that. And what's there left to do?
All right, now that she's got all the information.
Kills her, and then you find out here, so ended the 9th life of Moira. So you find out that 9th life, where she was meeting with Apocalypse, that was ongoing so that she could find out this information, and now they know how to defeat Nimrod in the 10th life, which is ours, which is why they're going to the Master Mold. Boom.
Mother Mold?
Mother Mold, yeah. Life 9. Now it has the end.
So we get to figure out what happened in that 9th life and what she's carrying with her to the 10th life.
Nimrod Origin Files.
What you call me?
So, we're back to that reconnaissance mission that Cyclops is going on with his team of X-Men, which is Mystique, Nightcrawler, Ms. Marvel, Marvel Girl, not Ms. Marvel, Archangel, Other Mutants, and Other Mutant 2.
Wolverine's in there.
No, there's 2 chicks.
He's right there.
I know. I know. Wolverine. We got Wolverine. He is part of this. Understood.
I don't know if he mentioned him.
You did. I was going with you. And so they're gonna go and they're gonna go to the moon. No, they're gonna go out into space from the moon, and they're gonna fight that Mother Mold.
Somebody's got.
Here we get another breakdown of like Sentinels and Nimrods. And... Oh, and then we get this cool scene. Remember when Sabretooth was captive earlier, and he's like gonna get like judged by a court of law in the U.S. and then like, basically Emma Frost walks in and is like, nah, he's gonna get judged by the mutants.
As part of Krakoa, we now have
jurisdiction.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is that space station with the Mother Mold. Here's the Krakoan alphabet. Everybody speak Krakoan. Racist. Here they're just talking, and then they're under attack by the X-Men. Boom. This is a great issue, actually. I know we're kind of skimming through it. This is probably the best issue. It basically turns out to
be almost like a heist mission, or just like they're attacking this base. They have to get to 4 different control points that are connecting. If you go back to like the overarching picture of it,
they're gonna release those so that the head goes into the sun, which is right there, and destroy it.
They've got to break those 4 locks on the.
Yeah, so that's what this issue is, and then there's a suicide bombing by one of the non-X-Men, like by one of the bad guys, and something crazy happens. I remember reading this the first time, and I was like, "What?" And bro. This explosion happens. That's the end of the issue. And you open up issue 7, and we're back at the home base, and they get a message from Jean after that explosion, and Archangel is dead.
Yeah.
Husk is dead. Husk is the name of one of them. Husk and Archangel are dead. And I was like, I know this is comics, but I'm like, wait, they just killed Archangel? I remember reading this panel like 6 times. Like, what? And so the mission continues, but Archangel and Husk are
go out
dead.
without any bumps later on, Johnny.
Yeah. And so other stuff starts happening, and the fighting keeps going, and more mutants start dying. They're able to finish their mission. And, dude,
Yeah.
Mystique dies right here.
Yeah, she gets sucked out of an airlock. And that was the last connection that they had to break, right?
Yes. Yeah, they had 3 out of the 4.
Yeah, and then they left that airlock open there to prevent anybody from also hitting the switch. So they feel like, all right, well, we're down to 1 of the 4 still remaining. The Sentinels are basically on their way from whatever the surface or wherever they were in nearby space. So they're like, all right, well, we just gotta hold out for the next like.
Oh, because they were mining for metal.
Yeah.
To make more Sentinels. Typical.
Keep making them.
So what they end up doing is Kurt Wagner bamfs with Wolverine out into space, and Kurt dies immediately.
Yeah,
Kurt dies immediately.
I like this scene especially was
it's
so
wild,
good, but also so kind of like, oh man.
Yeah, and Wolverine, like, he's regenerating as he's destroying this thing with his claws, and he's burning alive, and then eventually he breaks it, but he burns alive. He dies.
Yeah.
Wolverine is dead.
It was rough.
Wolverine, Nightcrawler, everybody's dead.
Mystique, Archangel, Husk.
Next page, Cyclops.
Oh, careful. Move your hand forward.
Just like we planned.
That was almost very sad is what happened there. We almost saw Ice Coffee die.
I would have, yeah. Along with Cyclops. F in the chat for everybody. So, Cyclops is dead. Everybody's dead except Ms. Marvel. And then she is,
she's fine.
well, she ends up getting away in her escape pod. Or
that gets consumed by the Sentinels and blown up, and the link to Charles is cut off.
So, every X-Men that went on that mission died. And then it ends with Charles Xavier declaring, no more.
Mm-hmm.
So, I remember, okay, let's pause here. Can you, reading this the first time, how did you feel at the end of this issue?
I thought it was kind of wild. I mean, also, again, knowing that, well, we've still got, because right there, we're halfway through all of it, right?
Correct, that is the halfway point.
Exactly, yeah. It was pretty powerful, because, I mean, yeah, it's like, all right, well, this X-Men book now has 0 of the, like, kind of like mainline X-Men anymore, except for Charles and the people who stayed back. And I'm like, well...
I know, you're still thinking in your mind comic books, but you're like, wow, they
also,
just killed all the X-Men, dude.
Again, to be fair, I do have the knowledge of, by then Dawn of X1 was coming out, and on the cover they've got, like, Cyclops and Wolverine and all that, so I'm like, well, surely my boys can't be. Surely they...
So, and what I like that they actually don't open back up with the, like, what happened there.
Yeah, we're on to, like, a different aspect of the timelines.
Okay, so do you remember when we were in the first timeline a few issues ago, and we showed that scene of Moira and Charles visiting Xavier, and they made peace with them? So this is following that. This is like right after that. Charles and Magneto visit what ends up being the fortress of Mr. Sinister, basically. It is a goofy issue. It is.
Yeah,
it was,
I mean,
but it's really lighthearted after the last one.
At that point, you do kind of need some comedic relief or a little like levity after that. But I wasn't laughing. I'm like, hey man, get to it. We're
Sinister's kind of weak. But basically, he has all these clones of himself, and like Xavier and Magneto are really interested in some of the information about cloning. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, I wonder why their information, like why they want. Do you have anything more to add in that part?
No, I mean that's it. It's we talk about his work with genetics and kind of breeding mutants using like their genetic code and like the different failures that happen, because they talk about they're trying to breed selective mutants that have more kind of like aggressive and warlike abilities, not like what they call like passive or peacetime ones, where it's like like somebody like Wolverine. That's a very good like aggressive and powerful ability, whereas I don't know. I'm trying to think of who are some of the weak ones. There's definitely somebody with some real Jubilee, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they basically, we don't want no Jubilees when we're trying to make these genetic experiments, or a guy that I don't know summons yellow eggs that don't do anything.
Yeah, he seems kind of useless.
Exactly. Yeah.
Weird. So then we get we're in the second timeline. So this is
Current
like
day,
our
yeah.
current day, but this is a little bit prior to the beginning of the book, and it's Xavier arriving on Krakoa
Yeah, this
with
is-
Cypher.
Let me slide this out a little bit. This is before Xavier gets
The crazy helmet.
exactly. Yeah, this is back when he had a pith helmet and not Cerebro. So that's how you know what timeline it is. If he's wearing the pith helmet, you know where we are.
And basically, he's introducing Cypher there because they want to basically get the language down because they want to speak Krakoan, and that's basically what it's
Yeah,
doing.
Krakoa is a living island, and is trying to communicate with them, but they have no way to communicate other than Cypher.
And then we get some weird stuff with some swords that you're like, I wonder if we'll ever find out about that in 2020.
No, we won't find anything what's going on there.
We're not gonna focus on that right now. We're
It's
talking
like,
about
man,
this.
that was weird. All right, well, back to it.
Yeah. And let's get to it right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what's going on there. Whoops. And then we jump back to our fourth timeline with the Phalanx making contact with those blue beings, and that's what's going on here. They're talking Ascension. You're like, I don't get this. I don't know what's
Sure.
going on.
Yeah.
Nimrod.
I wanna become one with them. Oops. Something's going on, but yeah.
Right,
doesn't
that's
really
what's
matter.
going on. And they're waiting to see if they'll be accepted, they're waiting to see if the Phalanx will accept them. So they can join them, which would be the end of humanity. Remember, that's what the fourth timeline is. They're going to become one of the Phalanx and end humanity. So, then we jump back to modern day Krakoa, and Xavier and Storm and Magneto are sitting around, like right after all the X-Men died, and these 5 mutants pop up. Dude who makes the yellow eggs, Rogue.
It wasn't Rogue, was
Oh,
it?
isn't
No,
that
it was
Rogue?
it was Hope, Egg Dude, dude that makes Ben's reality, lady that's something life.
And basically, what they're
They wish
doing and why they were interested in Sinister stuff and all this, what it culminates down to is they're able to rebirth the mutants.
Yeah.
And then inject
Resurrection.
them, basically inject them with their own memories.
Exactly.
So this is cutting back to that opening scene of Xavier, of all these naked people crawling to Xavier, and these are the X-Men, dude. There's
Those are the
Cyclops,
X-Men
he
that
just
died,
died.
yep,
So
exactly.
basically, they have learned how to cheat death,
Yeah. Emphasis on the cheating.
and yeah, they're reborn.
Yeah.
And then Xavier, like,
it feels like cheating. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah, so the gist of it is yeah, with through the genetic programs and through those yeah, feel free. I'll try to helm this one. And those 5 mutants and their abilities is yeah, they're able to recreate genetic husks of all right. Well, we have the ability to make somebody that would be exactly like Cyclops in terms of here's this human male about this age, these strengths and abilities. But the thing that they don't have is the mind. But we find out that Xavier, with the power of Cerebro, is able to implant their actual memory, their soul, back into that husk. So they have, here is the husk, the body of what could be a Cyclops. You know, he's got the sweet eye blasters, but he didn't have the mind. We take Cerebro, and then bam, Cyclops is back alive. I thought it was a real cop-out.
it's
I was not a fan of this, and also the fact
Yeah.
that yeah, thank you, Charlie, in Golf Mill Mall. It felt like kind of lame. I mean, like again, we're reading comics. Yes, people die and people come back, but the way in which we make it like part of like this is now just how we do it here on Krakoa.
here's my pro argument,
Sure.
and I'm not against
yeah,
you.
yeah,
I'm trying to play both sides
Exactly.
here.
Yeah. Devil's advocate.
Okay.
Xavier's
If
advocate.
let's put ourselves in that world and we're mutants, and
Mhm.
the idea was for our kind to survive.
Yeah.
Don't you think we would try to like somebody would have the bright idea
Oh.
of being like, hey, if you can do this and I could do that, can we do this
Definitely.
together?
I mean, like honestly, like I
So
think
it's kind of the first time you're seeing them like really put their powers together to see what they can do.
Yeah, and that one I do agree with. Like the whole like the five they call them, the different mutants that are able to like make the eggs, implant it with like an embryo, put the genes in there, speed up time, and then also like cause them to birth. Like that whole thing I get, and that was actually kind of cool. It's honestly the Cerebro thing of, and they don't get into it as much in here. In a later chapter, we get into the fact that he has these 5 different hard drives that basically like they talk about it like once every couple of weeks he downloads like all of the mental data of every mutant on Earth everywhere, and is able to
just
have
like their most recent memories.
Exactly, yeah. Like he does like a backup of those, and then like once a year he does like a clean restart and downloads it for 3 days. It's that whole thing of like, all right, we're just downloading their entire like mental backups, and now I know everything about them, and like I don't know, that part felt a little hokey to me, and that's the part where where like the whole like it's actually them.
Hokey, dude.
Like it's not like this isn't like just a Nightcrawler like a replacement. Like it's just like, oh well, this is Nightcrawler because 2 days ago I backed up his mental data, and now I'm putting it like into his actual physical body. Like I don't know.
No, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of it. Would I, well, I'll give my overall opinion at the end of it. That's what I'll save that for.
Yeah.
But this issue is basically Storm praising them, like, to the mutants of Krakoa, that they're the heroes of Krakoa for doing this. Because they did defeat the Nimrod. Like, they destroyed the Mother Mold, so theoretically...
Yeah, you're not wrong, Charlie. And also, their Storm is also... kind of proving the whole thing of, oh, this actually is, like, this isn't just somebody who looks and acts like Cyclops. This is him because he remembers this stuff, and, he has the exact personality, and it is him.
Which, who knows?
Start downloading me, boys. Yeah, this kind of goes back into...
Yeah, this is the... That's how it's explained. So it does, it's thorough.
Yeah, I mean, and Vic mentioned it too. Like, they do explain it in universe, and yeah, it does like make sense. It's just, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of a little much, but
and we get a little snippet of Xavier celebrating his victory as a sovereign nation, and
as he should. Yeah, the 5 countries or whatever that don't acknowledge Krakoa. It's so good.
So. The next thing is, like, the whole idea behind this Krakoa thing is to unite all mutants. All mutants meaning all mutants. So, to date, it's been all the X-Men and the good guys there, but now, what we find out is that they're opening the doors for all mutants, which means whole legion of bad guys, including one of my favorite villains of all time, Apocalypse. Yeah. Because he's so mysterious. I don't think anybody knows what the hell's up with Apocalypse, really. Basically, we find out...
He's Egyptian.
That, well, we do find out that Apocalypse has some type of relationship with Krakoa. So we don't get any more details about that, but I'm pretty sure that plays into Dawn of X later. But basically, all of these bad mutants have to play by the rules. And that is that, like... they go over the rules, actually. They're somewhere in this book. There is, like, a list of rules. They have to play by the rules or they're out. And it's not even, like, a question. It's like that, and you're out. So they're seeing if they can come to an agreement, and even Apocalypse, I love this shot. Yeah, exactly. This panel, this is a beautiful, beautiful page.
Welcome home, Apocalypse. We've got cake. Well, they've got beer. They do have beer at some point.
They do. Wolverine has beer.
He does, as he's wont to do.
And then here's the explanation for the Cerebro thing with the downloading stuff. Like, this was planned with Forge ahead of time.
Yeah, they upgrade...
It's a little sadistic. He looks like Norman Osborn there.
They upgrade Cerebro. They talk about the creation of these backups. Some of them are, like, in another dimension, like that where is it, the Nowhere one? That one seemed weird. But yeah, like, they've got the different off-site memory banks of all the different mutants.
So everything's accounted for. I have a feeling that they're overselling that for a reason.
Yeah.
I have a feeling eventually they're gonna... I don't know anything about Dawn of X, but I'm imagining that...
The fact that they've got 5, surely some of them will start to falter, and then, oh no, protected. But here we are with the White Queen, Emma Frost. They're talking about how they want to get her as part of all of this, because on the back in the actual real world, when it comes to that pharmaceutical drug that they've made, they want to distribute it, but they also don't trust the means of distribution of humans. So they want to use the Hellfire Club and like their international reach to play the part of actually distributing the drug as needed.
That's basically in exchange for a seat at their council, the Council of Krakoa.
Exactly. Yeah, Raidami was going so smooth. But what's up, man?
Welcome back.
No,
Welcome to Starbucks.
no weird stories this time, Raidami.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but it was
Yep, it was no good. Right? when Raidami comes in, Vic jumps out. So big B's. We'll see you later, Vic. Yeah, House and Powers of X, man. Where are we at now? Oh yeah. How do you feel about that look of Omega Red?
Are we sure that's Omega Red?
It's an Omega symbol and it's red, and he's got the
I know
lips, Omega Destroyer, and he starts flailing.
But Omega Red's in the Dawn of X stuff, and he doesn't look like that.
Is he? Okay, that I don't know.
So I'm curious about that. I was wondering that myself.
Vic, you aren't. You aren't.
Oh, not on stream.
That's
in person.
Even then, I don't know, man. But yeah, go on.
But basically, that was Xavier extending the invitation to Krakoa to all the mutants, including Submariner, who is a mutant.
Yeah, Namor said, "No thanks, man. I got it."
Yeah, I got a kingdom. I'm
That's
cool.
so good, yeah.
I'm just reading that again. It's pretty. He kind of talks smack to Professor
Yeah,
X.
no, I did like how just condescending Namor was.
And then we cut back to that fourth timeline where the Phalanx is trying to meet or trying to bind with these people, and it's kind of weird.
At that point, like the Elder had been destroyed after they accepted the terms and conditions. They said, "Yeah, we'll take you guys in," but they destroyed the Elder, and we find out that they did that because they need energy. So as part of the trade of, all right, well, we'll download you and your society into our conscious, one being. We also need to destroy all of your life forms of life on your planet because, hey, man, we need to survive somehow too. So, like, that's the trade-off of our physical, corporeal forms are destroyed. We're like downloaded into their system, and we live on forever through that, but not physically. So.
But we still don't find out why we should care, which is kind of weird. So at this point, you're like, why are they showing us all this stuff? It's the end of the world. Yeah. Why are we seeing this? Like, that's the end of humanity. Mm-hmm. And then there's, what the hell is going on here? It's just them, like, talking about what they've achieved, right, basically?
I believe so.
I don't think there's any more.
Oh, at this point, he's, like, talking to the world of, he's basically, this is, like, him stating to everybody.
Oh, yeah, while you slept, the world changed.
Exactly, of, like, all right, well, we created this drug. Normally, I would have just given it to you, because it helps out humanity. It's the betterment of everybody. But y'all humans are playing. You're killing us. They talk about the Genosha, like where 16 million mutants died, and then like a couple million more after that. So he talks about like all these millions of mutants dead because of humans. I don't feel as necessary to just give it to you. Normally I would have, but not anymore. So that's where they talk about their terms of acknowledge us, as a sovereign nation, and all mutants are allowed here, and they have basically political immunity. So they no longer care about the laws of man, just the laws of mutants. So.
And basically, they're like, "How are you gonna say no to us? Because we're superior to you. We are Homo superior.
Exactly,
you are Homo sapien.
We're superior. We're inevitable. Just let it happen, man."
Yeah. And then we get this. Issue 11 is like the Council of Krakoa because they need representatives in Krakoa, and everyone kind of gets a fair share.
Or well, sorry, 14 because also Cypher and Krakoa itself. But yeah, there's 14 on the council, and then like the 4 different generals, including like Cyclops, Wolverine,
Apocalypse, Magneto, and basically what they're doing is they're going to judge Sabretooth because he killed humans, and remember he was going to get judged by. I know, I didn't see this coming. This was cool. So basically, they were going to, or Sabretooth was going to get judged in a court of law, and Emma Frost came in and was like, "Nah, we're going to judge him, and here's the judgment." And they're like, "No, you killed humans. You have a bad history. Actually, we don't trust you."
Yeah, because they talk about how that's kind of one of the biggest. Here it is right there. They mentioned it, the 3 different laws there. The plan is to make more mutants.
Yeah, they can't murder humans
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah, and then respect the sacred land because they talk about how for a mutant to kill a human, it's a bigger offense because like mutants are kind of immortal. Um, who says I did, my man? But yeah, so they have this council to basically judge these different laws and mutants that have broken the law. So in this case, Sabretooth has killed humans. He disregarded Magneto's orders, and they took him in as kind of like the first judgment, and
First example.
and they found him to be guilty. And they said they basically, all right, you're guilty. We don't want you on Krakoa anymore, but we can't send you back into the world because you're just gonna run amok and do the same. So they come up with the ideal of exiling him, which is basically to have him like sucked into the center of Krakoa to like live in solitary confinement, where he's going to be alive but just in constant stasis, unable to move. And I thought that was brutal because also
Yeah, it's
I think
wild.
it's here because they talk about it might have been the page before they mentioned like, oh, we don't believe in prisons, but also isn't this just like imprisoning him? Like it's just solitary
Yeah.
confinement. Like he's alive, he's in there. They talk about like basically the chance of parole to some degree. Like so I don't. That part felt a little weird to me of like trying to pretend like, oh, we're better than prisons, but we're just gonna throw you in prison. So I don't know.
I thought it was pretty brutal though. To
Oh
be
yeah, no,
honest.
like that is a hellish existence for sure. But like the fact that they mentioned like the whole thing of like we don't believe in prisons, but also here's a prison.
That's
But
exactly
not
what I
freeze him,
thought.
no, because he's conscious and aware of all of it. Like
There's your beer.
he is just like stuck in this hellish like nothingness, and he has to just experience all of it. Like that's worse than just freezing through it.
But the next few pages are just all the mutants celebrating
Yeah.
on Krakoa because they won. That's the end of the story, right? They won.
Exactly.
Look at what they did.
Celebration, revelry.
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Apocalypse is all on his own. Something's going on there.
Wolverine-
I remember thinking that. Now we got the swords story.
Wolverine gets his beers. Oh wait, go back real quick. There was a scene where we
yeah.
saw Wolverine reach for beers. Where was it? Oh no.
Right there. He's
it
right
is,
there. Yeah.
It's so
Scott
good.
and Havoc have him in their hands there,
Exactly.
getting wasted. So that should
And there
wrap
it
it
is.
up. But wait,
And that's House.
That
of
was
Cards.
only
Wait a
11.
minute, what? There's 12?
there was 12. Oh my
What?
God, what's going on? Wait, we never got any revelation with that phalanx thing in the 10th timeline.
why would
Oh wait, I mean the 4th timeline.
The fourth power of X.
4th timeline.
Who's this guy? We've seen this guy
Oh,
before.
wait, we didn't. Yeah, they're gonna fill some stuff in for us here. So wait, Moira McTaggart meets Charles Xavier in that first timeline,
Mhm.
and they have their little talk about the future. And Moira has him read her mind, and we've seen this before,
Mhm.
and that's where it pauses. And we're like, "What the hell? We've already seen that." Okay, then we jump back to the 4th timeline, and it's that blue being, and he's in the biodome.
That
And this
blue
is the day
Xavier.
before the Phalanx is going to come and absorb them into their collective being, and humanity is going to end, right? This is the
Yep.
day before the end of humanity. And guess who's still hanging out in this
Oh.
biodome?
Who's that man and woman that we saw earlier in one of the issues?
It's Logan, man. That's
And-
well, that's
Oh,
we only have Wolverine so far, right?
we saw a lady, or maybe next.
Yeah, not yet. So Wolverine is still alive,
It's not Polly Shore.
and then
Not the biodome.
out of there comes Moira McTaggart.
Oh.
So Moira McTaggart and Wolverine are the two remaining humans, mutants, the day before the end of the world. And basically this blue being is taunting them, telling them that they fail, and the reason that they kept Moira McTaggart alive was because they found out about her mutant power. And if she died, it would just erase the timeline, and they wouldn't be this close to becoming one with the Phalanx. So basically, they need her to live until they accomplish their goal, because then even if she dies, she can't go back and stop them,
Yeah.
essentially. Right? That's what you got.
I think that was it. Yeah, like it was getting a little weird here. Of like, I didn't get why. Yeah, this guy was like so gloaty about it.
Yeah, basically he's talking smack to them, saying you can't stop me and we're going to keep you alive. And
Haha, I'm going to ascend.
Yeah.
Sucker.
talking smack, and then boom, out of nowhere. Whoops. And then boom, out of nowhere. And then, boom, out of nowhere,
Right when you least expect it.
Wolverine kills the dude because he was just talking smack the whole time. So basically, they just found out what the ultimate plan was for the end of humanity. This is like 1,000 years down the line. This is how humanity ends. And Moira McTaggart now has that knowledge, and no one is there to stop her.
Suckers.
So Wolverine does what Wolverine does, and he kills Moira McTaggart, and we find out this was the 6th life. That timeline that we never got was the 4th timeline the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that allowed her to go back and show Xavier that, like, this literally comes down to the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be trying to negotiate with humans anymore. Like, it ends up with humanity ending. And that's why they have to do this extreme partnership with Magneto and Sovereign Nation and segregate themselves from the rest of the world.
Yeah, because trying to live with them never works, so now we've got to live without them.
So they're going to try to do their own thing. And that's really what it comes down to.
Is you can't trust humans. That's the moral of the story, really. Hugh Jackman kills people, and humans can't be trusted. That's the two guarantees in life. That and Wolverine sure likes his beer.
Yeah. Then we got a cover gallery at the end.
Yeah.
Some of these covers are really badass. I
Many
like
of
this
those,
one.
yeah, that
How Many
one.
Lives of Moira McTaggart. I think that's
Yeah,
the issue where
Apocalypse.
everybody dies.
Got that sweet sword. There's Nimrod.
Yeah, I'm glad I still have my singles of these.
Still have some of those here too.
We do have some.
Mm-hmm. There's Mr. Sinister. That issue we can skip. And then yeah, the variants. Man, those variants.
I have that one still.
Yeah, you do.
I have that one still.
Yeah, you do.
I have that one.
Oh, do they have the party variant? I don't know if they have like the cool like.
No, I think they're in here. No, wait, that's
I don't think it
they're
is.
that one. I had all these at one point. I sold most of them. Are you sure you're not thinking of the House of X? I mean the Dawn of X stuff.
Oh yeah, no.
But here's the here's the party variant.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 1 had a bunch more variants than the rest of them. Okay, connecting covers,
Yeah,
second
this-
prints, third prints, fresh prints.
Oh yeah, I like the Savage Lands ones were cool too when those were coming out. Yeah. A lot of covers, Johnny.
So what did you think? 7 out of 10, you said.
Yeah. That resurrection thing kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I
makes
don't know
it
how
all
to
with
feel
me.
about it. It's like,
It's also like, so that's the thing with comics is always it's just the whole. If death has no meaning, you know, like what. It's hard for it to be impactful. I mean, because like that's the thing. It's like even kind of Vic mentioned and we mentioned too. Like that was a rough and pretty sad scene. Like when they're out in space and like the entire X-Men team died trying to better their lives and prevent millions more mutants dying over time because of the Sentinels, and to just be like, well, mutant death doesn't matter anymore. It's like, all right, well now what are we doing here?
I'm hoping that it comes down to somewhere where
yeah,
like,
I mean, like
they...
that's sorry, real quick. Charlie does mention like but if they kill anyone of the Resurrection team, it's over. Yeah, like I feel like that's gonna be the thing. Is like I'm assuming the plot lines of some of this stuff involves either killing one of the 5 or destroying the different cerebral memory banks. Yeah, like I get that. Like I get that there's still stakes and there's still ways for that stuff to come into peril, but like. I don't know, just at the face value, and again, like just going off of what's in the House and Powers of X stuff, not what's like what they say in Dawn of X, because they might have had stuff that involves that, like X-Men as it stands is at like issue 12 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a year.
And then there's plenty of the spin-offs like
X-Force, X-Factor,
X-Force.
Fallen Angels, Cable, Wolverine, New Mutants, Hellions,
Excalibur.
Marauders.
Excalibur.
No, there's no Excalibur.
Yeah, there is.
Oh yeah, there is. He's right. There totally is.
Point being, I'm sure in some of that, I'm sure that becomes a thing. But yeah, I don't know. Just again, in these 6 issues, I was kind of a cop out. Like I get it, but also I don't know. I liked it though. It was an interesting ride. Some of the stuff, yeah, like some of the end of the world and the phalanx stuff. I feel like they went into a lot of detail for something that we didn't really need that much of. Like I kind of got it from the jump. Yeah, like like all right, well we're simulating in them. That's not good for us in like the physical form, but I guess it's good in the long term because we'll live on forever as one. I guess that's good. But
yeah, it was kind of confusing, the phalanx stuff.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I liked it. What are we reading next week? What are we not reading next
good
week?
question. So we are not reading. We talked about it last time that we might be reading V for Vendetta next. We're putting that off for now. We'll be back. Don't worry.
There's a reason.
There is a reason.
It's a legit reason.
It is very legitimate. So that opens it up to next week's book. Anybody in the chat have any suggestions? If not, Johnny and I will also pitch some of ours, and we'll kind of meet in the middle here. So most recently we did some Batman stuff. We did some manga stuff.
Berserk 3. Nope, you don't have it yet.
Yeah, I'm sure the Tuesday that comes in, we'll talk about it, and then that next
that's
Wednesday.
Gonna be the book that week. Yeah,
exactly.
It's not a conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
We gotta know what happens, dude.
So yeah, if, Charlie, Raidami, anybody in the chat, if there's any books that you've read or you haven't read and you would like us to read, let us know. We're definitely open to kind of whatever.
Let me think if there's anything I've been itching to read.
I was gonna say we've done a lot of DC.
No, you know what I want to do, and you know what? They messed it up. Do we still have those Tick books? We're reading the Tick. I want to read the Tick.
Yeah.
12 issues of the Tick.
Getting. Let me go grab that real quick just to show off what we were talking about. I'll still leave it up to if they want to.
Yeah. If nobody votes though, then Frank Miller, Wolverine 1 through 4. Nope, not yet. Nope. Sorry. Got to read all the X-Men stuff first. That's down the line when I'm caught up. But then yes, not until then though. Can't spoil. But I do want to read that. Didn't we order the Tick for you, Charlie? Like, didn't you say something funny? And then we were like, Tick, thought you'd be supporting. Not this week, but let me think about it. It's on the maybe pile. Better than the no pile. I'm being real. I'll give it consideration. Not this week. I'm game for Tick. I wonder where Mike went. I thought those books were in back and he went to the front. I might be wrong. I think that's what happened though. Get that book?
What's up?
Yeah, he got it!
Of course I got it. I was looking for the most dinged up of those ones just so we could
have no problem going through it.
Exactly.
They're all pretty dinged up. All right. I read some of this one time and I was laughing out loud in my own studio. It's funny as hell, dude.
Okay.
God damn, they messed these up. Yeah, so it's the first 12 issues of The Tick, which is the original series by Ben Edlund.
Man, those are some big. Is there like a lot of bonuses? You want to put those like side by side? Because that's a. The Tick is thick.
No, there's no bonuses. There's like a page or two. It's advertisements. Yeah, it's a big guy. A little bit bigger in size. Definitely thicker.
Mm-hmm.
Not that much thicker.
That's a lot of reading.
It's easy
how
to read.
dense is it?
Not
Do they talk about?
It's like 4 bubbles.
Do they talk about Ascension?
No. This is definitely more in line with Berserk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On our Watchmen to Berserk scale of readability and how long it takes to complete it.
The Tick. Yeah, this thing's great. I can't wait to read this.
I'm curious to see. I feel like most like comedy comics, like comics that are just like straight up trying to be funny. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but they weren't really ever good. Tick though.
But you've never read this?
No, I have not. So I'll give it a go.
The Tick number 6.
As long as it's not like Nimrod or Mr. Sinister levels.
No, this will be a lot more fun. I'm very confident. All right, so Tick next week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds like Chuck says okay. Yeah, we'll knock it down. Also, that was 20 episodes, Johnny. They're moving. 20 books.
That just means that we're rocking.
Always.
The people love Johnny and Mike.
They certainly do. So look at that. That's a lot of 424 pages. Wait, no, yeah. 12 original issues plus more. So I was right. There's a little bit more in there. Not that it matters, but I was just curious. So there's that little break right there. Yeah. Is that just about everything, Johnny? We ending early? Did we for like?
Yeah,
It worked.
I know.
We went from
going over to
exactly,
doing it on time.
Oh yeah.
I really hope we get that previews next week. I don't think we will, but I really hope we do.
I don't think it is. Give me 2 seconds. I guarantee it's not next week.
Oh, you have next week's invoice. I'm gonna look at that before I leave. That's what I'm gonna do next. I'm so excited.
It is not a previous week. No, I think it's the following week that's gonna be previews.
Next week is previews. The week after.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's pretty soon, though.
Wait, no, that can't be right. Yeah, it won't be.
Right.
It won't be the. I think it's gonna be either Wednesday the 23rd or probably more likely Wednesday the 30th. Or sorry, yeah, Wednesday.
It's kind of a while away.
Yeah, it is. It's a long month. The Tick. Oof, I don't like that. Right on me. We asked you, what do you want, my dude? I mean, it's probably still gonna be the Tick, but we can still listen. And yeah, 424 pages. Look at that Tick.
It's an easy read, I promise.
Somebody came in with a reprint of issue 7 the other day. I thought it was expensive, but I'm like, nope, you got a reprint.
I read the reprint, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
First print, sorry.
I think the thing is that they thought they had a first print, but it's like, nope, that's just a reprint. Oh, whoa, hold up. I'm sorry, this is just randomly the page that I opened to, but I see that he is reading a knockoff EC horror comic, including down to the sweet advertisements and the way the font is done. Exactly, yeah, just talk horror comics to me, and you've got me one.
See,
so.
the Tick knows what's up, man.
Exactly, yeah, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna, is this actually good? Is the Tick good? Right on me, why don't you like the Tick? Tell me, my dude.
Why is it randomly $37.99? That's such an awkward price.
Like our $38
$0.75 cents an issue. What? Oh no, that'd be way more. Sorry, I did that math wrong. I'm at a page.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
I'm not doing anything right. All right, we ready? I'm ready.
I think that's just about everything.
All right, we're
All
ready.
right, so there it is. Next Wednesday. We didn't mean to trigger you here right on me. We forgot to put the content warning that this stream will involve ticks. I apologize for any inconvenience right on me. Be sure to not tune in, I guess, next Wednesday when we're talking about nothing but ticks. But yeah, so quick reminder, next Wednesday we'll do the 12 original Edlund tick issues. Right now you should be studying then. What are you doing up this late? Speaking of late, we're gonna cut it there. So
contact's getting dry.
We'll see you next Wednesday to talk about the Tick. We'll be back next Tuesday also to talk new comics, any news that's happening in the comics world, showing off some cool books that came in, talking sales. We got deals. Hopefully we might have some interesting online sales information for you guys then, but fingers crossed. So until then, as always, enjoy the rest of your week, and remember, not all heroes wear capes.